All right, Libra, welcome to your monthly horoscope for May 2015. Let's go ahead and look at your chart for this month. We have a full moon right off the bat in your first house on the 3rd of May. So this is very nice. Always nice to have a full moon in the first. This is an awareness and culmination of your sense of self, your identity, your self-image, the things that you are working towards, your goals, your ambitions, your inspirations, your assertiveness, your confidence level, your courage. So all of this is coming to a high point. This is a high point of the past 2 weeks in regards to these new beginnings of the 7th house that you had, but also in the past 6 months, because you had a new moon here 6 months ago. So now it's a culmination of many of those things relating to the first house as well. One unique thing about this full moon energy is it's going to be right on the cusp between Libra and Virgo. So it's a little bit of the Libra energy, which is of course about balance and harmony and maintaining that even keel on everything. But Virgo is about self-improvement. This is about growth, and it's about overall, in this sense of your first house, it's moving towards a direction of your growth and expansion. You'll most likely do it by taking care of the routine, make sure that everything is good with your health, and you overall are self-improved. That is how you will utilize this full moon the most, and really see exactly what it is you can really use here in terms of all this 7th house matters. Because what's coming to a culmination is the things relating to self over the past 6 months, but over the past 2 weeks you had a new moon here in your 7th house. So it's a culmination of both yourself, your growth, and also relationships, you see. So the relationship stuff is quite new. Over the past 2 weeks, you had a new moon in your 7th house, which is all one-on-one connections. So whatever that's been, if it's been one relationship in particular, or just your overall perspective on relationships in general, or legal matters, or sales, or business, anything that's one-on-one basically, whatever that's been for you, it's now a culmination of that as well. So very nice to have the full moon right off the bat in your first house. Now, the emphasis for the first half of this month is still very much about relationships, especially around the 3rd, but things are shifting. Things are definitely changing. And the next important event here in this month is that we have Venus, your ruler, going into the 9th house from the 8th house. So last month, in the first 6 days of this month, you've had the opportunity to enjoy the deeper elements of life. You know, what life is truly about. Getting deeper with your relationships, getting more deeper with yourself, and having that transparency and openness with yourself and others. And so that's been enjoyable, hopefully, or at least that's been the focus point for you with your ruler here. But now that it's all shifting, and what's happening is you are transforming this month. Your ruler is going over the 9th house cusp, which is always about transformation. It's about coming from a very watery time period of the depths of seeing the truth and going into the much more expansive elements of life, which is the open horizons philosophy. What is life about? Your life path, travel, adventure. So tap into all of that adventurous energy here from the 6th onward with your ruler in that 9th. That's going to be a very, very nice flow for you, and I think you'll enjoy that very, very much. Also, dealing with all this relationship stuff, Venus in your 9th is signifying that, having that expansive approach to your relationships, maybe connecting to people abroad, maybe, doing some things out in nature or traveling with your friends or people in your life, your spouse or whomever. Just having that very broad and optimistic view on life will certainly help you with all this relationship activity in general. But it's just an overall energy. You just want to implement it, and naturally it will benefit all areas of your life because it is your ruler. But I think you'll notice it with relationships especially too, because it's Venus and because you have all this activity, a part of this cycle of your 7th house. Now, the next major event is on the 10th. We've got Mars shifting into your 8th house. So there's still a lot of activity with this 8th house this month. You've had Mercury there. Mercury's going to go retrograde here a little bit later in the month. And you've got Mars shifting into here as well. And the new moon is going to take place very close to that 8th house cusp. So again, 8th house, truth with yourself first, transparency, vulnerability with yourself, seeing within self. And then from that, naturally that will transpire into other areas of your life like relationships and work and public related things and things like that. but it starts with self. So I think you've been thinking about these deeper elements, also forming healthy bonds. You know, it's another 8th house thing. Shared resources, it's another 8th house thing. Removing yourself from unhealthy bonds, such as debt and things that kind of bind us and keep us down. So that's been on your mind, I think, with Mercury. Now with Mars shifting into here on the 10th and onward, you're motivated by it. So I think by this point, you're going to be very driven to get deep, get transparent, get real, maybe take care of some of these connections that are binding you in a good way, maybe in a way where you can free yourself and have that transformation in that part of your life. So very nice, Mars. Utilize that. This is going to be a big, big house for you this month. Now on the 17th, we have that new moon. And that new moon is happening very, very, very close to your 8th house cusp. So notice that it's still in your 7th though. Sometimes we do have a new or full moon in the same house. And so in this case you do. You're going to have 2 new moons in your 7th house. You had one last month, now you're going to have one this month. So lots of the relationship stuff. But it's so close to your 8th house cusp, and with all this activity in your 8th, it's going to be a little bit of both. It's going to be relationships, but getting deep, vulnerable. That's why I think a lot of this 8th house stuff for you is very much relating to relationships in particular. Okay, maybe it's the shared resources, getting deeper, sharing yourself in a very deep way with those in your life. So whatever that is, reflect around the 17th, because this is a time of new beginnings for you, for both the next lunar cycle and the next 6 months solar cycle. So, 12 months once it comes back around. So reflect on it, because that's what we want to do during the new moon, is reflect on those energies. And then that way we understand exactly what we're working with. Because once that moon starts to fill up later on in the month, that will become more and more aware of what exactly started here and where you can put energy. But it'll come from a very good reflective time period, is how we want to really utilize that. So that's around the 17th. Then on the 18th and 19th, we've got Mercury going retrograde in that 8th house. So there are some things that perhaps do need to be taken care of this month involving the shared resources, anything 8th house. Okay, so it's the month to rework, redo, rethink, and it's not about hiding away. I've been saying this with Mercury retrograde. It's not about not doing things like not signing contracts. It's a time where you want to be open to learning. So, anything that's like a major contract, yeah, you probably, if you're not willing to make a mistake on it, I would probably hold off. But as long as you're treating it as a learning process, then that's what you'll get. You're going to learn. That's essentially exactly what the Mercury retrograde is all about. It's all about learning and understanding. So for you, it's all about these deeper elements, okay? What it means to form bonds, what life is truly about, what truth is, how to be more truthful with yourself, all these things. Seeing past the veils, sharing the truth. Mercury loves to share information, how you can share the truth with others, whether it's on a global level or whatever. So that's, like I said, a big emphasis, and that Mercury retrograde is going to go on all the way through the beginning of June, so it's going to be a big highlight for you, that 8th house. Then around the 20th, we've got the sun going into that 8th. So that's going to be a shift too, and so it's all this kind of 18th, 19th, 20th time period, all starting from the 17th. You know what? It's actually starting from it's just ongoing, because Mercury's already there. You're already thinking about it, but it's kind of like this incremental step. Like things are just incrementally becoming more and more about the 8th house for you. So around the 20th, when the sun goes in there, this is about awareness. So sun in the 8th is you just naturally have the awareness at this point what these deeper elements are for the next 30 days. There's passion, there's fun, there's joy, there's creativity to be had when you're seeing the truth and going within and all these things. So that's a very nice energy to work with, and I think things will definitely become very illuminated around that time, around the 20th. Then on the 27th, we have Mercury then going over Mars again, which is the last time you did this was back in your 7th house, where last month I think you learned more about relationships, what motivates you about relationships, maybe how to assert yourself more in relationships, these types of things about Mars and Mercury. But now that same thing is happening in your 8th. So it's not the same in the sense that it's about relationships, but it's about the deeper elements. So reflect on what motivates you about life. What is really, really truthful to you? What is the depth? What is real? What is raw? And how can you implement that? How can you take action with it? How can you apply it? Mercury ruling Virgo is about application and applying these things. Then on the 30th, Mercury goes over the sun in his retrograde position, which means Mercury is in front of the sun, which means our minds should still be very sharp at this time. So again, seeing the passion, seeing the awareness, all this stuff illuminating in the 8th. And so as the month progresses towards the end of the month, there'll be more and more of this understanding of these deeper elements. So Libra, I hope you guys have a good month. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you're new to this form of astrology, do check the link down below. Also do check your weekly horoscopes, because this is very general for the month. If you'd like a more specific look with the aspects and everything, check out the weekly. And if you'd like a personal reading, do check the website, because this is obviously just the overall transits of the sky. For the personal readings, I look at your personal chart and how they're aspecting your personal planets. So have a good time. If you have any questions, I'm here, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.